The first thing I want to say is I really want to thank you for making movies because A, I love your movies, and B, I love that you're doing something different with the art form than a lot of other filmmakers right now.
Well, thank you.
Now, the most important question. I wore my Kubrick t-shirt today because I would imagine you're a fan, and I'm just curious, do you have a favorite Kubrick film?
Oh, that's very difficult. No, I mean, I like most of these movies very much, so it would be very hard.
Is there a filmmaker that you think has influenced you the most as a filmmaker, or do you think you are a collection of everything you've seen?
Well, first of all, I'm a collection of all my film influences, but I think generally all filmmakers or people that make, works of art or something close to that, if you can call it that, we're formed and molded from also a lot of other experiences and influences, from music to photography to painting to how we grew up to the climate to, emotional and psychological experiences and influence. So I think it's quite reductive to say that, there's one major influence, at least in my case. And also, I have such a large, wide variety of things that I like. Even within one filmmaker, as you say, like there's so many films of Kubrick's or so many films of Buñuel's or Bresson or whatever, or Cassavetes. Already those are so different between them, filmmakers. But I grew up watching, Spielberg and Jaws, and I, watched it recently, and I think it's incredible. So it's just, you can't,
I love the way you work with your cinematographer on where you place the camera and your selection of and where you place the camera. Can you talk about how much are you thinking about those decisions prior to stepping on set? How much are you finding it in the moment?
I think about it a lot in terms of, before going on set, in terms of a general structure of how we're going to approach this film, in terms of how we're going to film it. I try to set up some rules of where the camera goes, what kind of lenses we use, what kind of format. So we discussed that with Robbie, and we come up with a set of rules. We do this. The camera is never higher than people's eyes, for example, or it's not moving unless someone's moving, or we test a lot and we decide that we're going to use these three lenses for the most part, and so we develop this kind of language for each film, and then when we go on set, we kind of start from scratch, but having this kind of rules in the back of our head. So we take it one step at a time. We rehearse with the actors and, decide which is the best way to film a scene.
I am fascinated by the editing process because that's where it all comes together. And I'm curious, with Kinds of Kindness and with your other films, have any of them gone through a dramatic change in the editing room in ways you didn't expect going in?
No, I don't think anything dramatic has ever happened. It's more of I guess I'm relatively slow in terms of editing, so I'd like to take time off, work on some scenes or the whole of the film or whatever, and take some time off to get some distance, and then watch it again and try and come from a different perspective and make sure that we've done the best version of the scene or the sequences or the entire film. So there hasn't been any drastic change. The only thing that I changed recently was that when I first see the first assembly of the film, well, actually, I decided to not do that anymore, to not watch an assembly of the whole film, because it just feels too daunting, and you're so disappointed and depressed by what you see, and it's this slack thing that you don't know where to start and how to start attacking it. And I told my editor, who's edited all of my films, I think we should try and do it somewhat differently now. Like, just show me the first 5 scenes and then let's just work on them and try to make them the best we can, and then move on to the next 5 scenes and the next 5 scenes. And, I'll only see the entirety of the film after we've worked a little bit on sections of the film, instead of just slapping it to my face, the whole thing, and I don't know what to do with it. So I think that worked for me a little bit better. So I'm thinking of, continuing to work like that.
I need to go. I'm just going to say congratulations. And again, I really appreciate you making movies.